Quick hi out there today to our friends from Hewland Street. I'm wearing one of their mission t-shirts. These guys have been incredibly faithful over many years, coming to visit us, working out at Cooler. Ali thinks they're awesome. They think Ali's awesome. I think they're all awesome. But they come every year to serve here and to build and to do some wonderful stuff. Sadly, with lockdown, we've missed them this year. But to Wes and Leslie and the team there at Hewland Street, we do miss you guys, and we miss you, Wes, preaching your heresy in our church as well. Every time you preach, I have to fix it up again. But it's really lovely to have a partnership with you, and we do miss you. We're talking on the subject of words, the power of words. We're speaking through the book of Proverbs at the very confrontational sometimes, the way that we use words. Today, so far we've spoken about thoughtful words, we've spoken about timely words. Today I want to talk about words of truth, truthful words. Proverbs 12:19 puts it like this: truthful lips endure forever, a lying tongue lasts a moment. Truth stands the test of time. It's like when Amos the prophet was there and he was talking to the children of Israel about a plumb line. And a plumb line is something that builders use to keep things the way they should be, to keep them straight and to keep the building perfect, because that's what makes it stand. And so a builder will use a plumb line and everything aligns itself to that. And the prophet is saying to the people, you can swing the plumb line all you like, and while the plumb line is moving from one side to the other side, you can mess with truth, you can play with truth, you can discern your own truth, you can define what you want to be truth, and truth could be a relative thing according to what you want it to do and to be. But there will come a day when the plumb line will come back straight to the truth of God. And very often we try and manipulate our way around the truth of God, and it is personified through the truthlessness that we sometimes speak through our lips. Now in the Bible there are certain speech that is forbidden. Let me give you a couple of them. Blasphemy is the one. We're never allowed to use God's name in vain. And I got to tell you people, I'm always nervous about this, and you will have heard me in our church, I've said this before, that some of the euphemized words that we use where we say, oh my gee, you know, and I'm always nervous of that, because I think, is that taking God's name in vain? I sometimes think it might be. When we refer to God as being the man upstairs or the old man up there, you know, sometimes I'm nervous because I don't want to mess with a holy and a righteous God by referring to him as the old man upstairs. And so we better be careful about blasphemy, using the name of the Lord in vain. It concerns me that we as Christians are able sometimes just to sit in movie theaters and watch TV and hear the name of the Jesus we love being used in vain. And it goes in one ear and out the other, and there is no reaction from us. That worries me a little bit. I think we should make a far stronger stand. I have a friend, Steph, who when he goes to a movie that is advertised as a family movie and they use the Lord's name in vain, his whole family will stand and they'll want their money back because they have not lived up to what they have promised, a family movie. The Lord's name must never be used in vain. The second aspect of truthfulness is an issue of flattery, where we tell people that they're a lot better than they are because we want something from them. We'll feed their ego, and in a way we manipulate them to do or to give what we want or want them to do for us. The third one in Proverbs 6 is a big one, and I want to read this to you from verse 16 to 19. Listen to this. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, or a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a man who stirs up dissension among brothers. People in church, we're going to be very careful about what we say about one another. When we play one team up against another team and we play one individual up against another, God says he hates those things. So be very careful about what you say about your brothers in the church, because you may just fall into the category of a man who stirs up dissension among brothers. You need to know how strongly God feels on those subjects. But false testimony or false or lies is actually a civil term where we talk about contracts. And in the old days, and even the days today, there's this emphasis that if you have an accusation against somebody, it has to be proven by at least 2 witnesses. Now we see this, how this fell apart at the trial of Jesus, do we not? How Jesus' trial was a total farce. They had 100 false witnesses. These guys couldn't get their act together. They couldn't come up with the same story. They couldn't agree. And we see Jesus suffering at the hands of false lies and false truths. We then take it even a step further and we talk about slander. You know what slander is? Slander is a lie, and it is false, but it is intended to hurt somebody's reputation. When you say it, you know that it's not true. That's the difference between slander and gossip. Gossip is a bunch of half-truths. You hear something that might be true or it might not be. And so you take this gossip and you begin to share it with one another. Slander is something you know is not true. Gossip, when you talk to people about stuff and about other people's stuff, is based upon probably more half-truths, but the same intention is the outcome. You want to hurt that person's reputation. I find it interesting. Why do we gossip? What do we get out of this thing? It seems so strange that by human nature we have this kind of morbid attraction to gossip. We love hearing stuff about people that may not be that good, and I think I know why. Within our sinful nature, within our inability to be happy with who we are, we're always kind of looking for people who we want to bring down so it makes us look better. And Proverbs talks about the fact that gossip is something. In Proverbs 26:20, it says, don't fuel it. It's something that you love to eat. It says the words of gossip are a choice morsel. That means they're a just little juicy bit that we can chew on, and then we can chew it and pass it to somebody else and they can chew on it. Rather disgusting. And indeed it is, when it is even words that we speak so nonchalantly about one another. People, I reckon, in the church, we should go to the other extreme. We should protect one another's reputations. And if somebody comes with some form of gossip, and they will cover it up by saying, hey Trevor, I just need to let you know so you can pray for this person. That's not their intention. They just want to spread a little bit of a word of gossip. We need to protect one another's reputation, and the key line is this: have you spoken to that person about this issue before you've spoken to me? If they haven't, they need to, and you need to tell them that. Let's stop this gossip thing. Words of gossip are destructive for people. To destroy somebody's reputation is really a terrible thing to do, especially when you don't know what the heck you're talking about. But it's also destructive for you, because it's not long before you're going to begin to realize the error of your way. And you will notice that even though the words that you have said may not necessarily be construed by you to be evil, the results for somebody else are. And it is therefore only going to be a matter of time before guilt invades your soul. And you feel so guilty over the things that you have said. And I have sat many hours with people talking about things that they have said about one another that have either been slander, been lies, or been gossip. And the other person's guilt has so ridden them that they have to get up and they have to call a meeting with that person to be able to come straight with them. This can so easily be averted by us just by protecting one another's reputations, by not listening to gossip, by not playing that link in the broken telephone, and every time it gets passed on, the message gets changed. People, please take this seriously, and let's protect one another the best that we can, because the consequences for that other person are devastating, equally so for yourself. These things will make you sick. They will stunt you psychologically. They will affect you spiritually When you join in church and you look across the room and you say, man, I trashed that guy's reputation and I passed on a rumor about that person, spiritually it's going to have an incredible impact upon you. So here's the deal. Stop it. Just stop it. And watch the blessing of God come by the things that you don't say rather than just the things that you do. Maybe you need to take a moment today, right now, wherever you are. If you're driving your car, pull it over on the side. If you're sitting in your home, find a quiet spot and confess to God your foolishness in this regard. Speak to Him about it. Ask God to forgive you for those things. And then if you feel the prompting of the Holy Spirit, which I think you will, maybe you need to call a meeting. Have coffee with that person. Restore that relationship. And above all, restore your own soul. I hope you'll do that today. God bless you guys. Thank you for hearing me out on these tough subjects. But I pray for God's blessing upon you. Let's now go and save the world.